This Saturday is the 20th anniversary of the 9/21 earthquake, which rocked Taiwan on September 21st, 1999. The epicenter was near Jiji in central Taiwan. Now, this is one of the most destructive earthquakes in Taiwan's history, and today we're going to be talking about some of the numbers that are connected to this earthquake. Now, both you and I were in Taipei at the time, and we were both working for Radio Taiwan International, so we both remember this earthquake very well.
That's right, as journalists as well.
That's right, we reported on it. We're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. So I want to start off with a question for you. Do you remember the exact time when the earthquake occurred?
Oh, I think it was like 1:15, no, 1:13 or something.
Okay, 1:13
a.m. in the morning.
All right, so we're going to have that answer for you in just a moment. But first, the Taipei City Fire Department has come up with a very interesting way to teach people about earthquake preparedness and safety. Let's have a look.
The ground is shaking and the roof is rumbling. Is it an earthquake? Don't worry, it's just a simulation. With the help of a headset and controller, this new virtual reality game will teach you how to survive an earthquake. In one scenario, you might duck under a table, but if there's a fire, you'll need to turn off the gas first. Taipei City Fire Commissioner Wu Junhong says that these VR games were designed to teach people how to prepare, take cover, and then escape. The first part shows you what you need to prepare for an emergency. Then it guides you through individual or group challenges. Children under the age of 6 can wear simpler cardboard headsets to learn about disaster prevention. This boy has successfully ducked under a table. The Taipei Fire Department is marking the 20th anniversary of the 9/21 earthquake by inviting visitors to play these VR escape room games. The hope is that people will be better prepared to face earthquakes in the future.
All right, before the video, I asked you, Natalie, if you remember the exact time when the 9/21 earthquake occurred. You said like 1:13? All right, let's have a look at the answer.
Oh, okay. I
1:40
know it was 1 something.
Yeah, 1:47 a.m. So you remember it being 1 in the morning,
yes.
Right? Do you remember the earthquake?
I remember. I was still awake, and then at first I was in my bed, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to pass, but it kept on going.
And it got stronger
yeah,
too, right?
And then so we got up, and then we went downstairs, we left our apartment, and it seemed pretty intense. And then we don't have a TV, and so we were listening to the radio, and it seemed kind of intense because people were asking for blood, you know, for blood to help the victims. And then, but I didn't know how serious it was until I came into work the next day and watched the TV coverage. Wow.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I didn't have a TV at the time either, and I had a radio with batteries in it because the power was out. So I turned on my radio and I listened through the night, and all of those programs, all the pop music programs, they turned into 24-hour news programs. People calling in.
You didn't go to sleep?
I couldn't.
Oh.
Because once you started hearing the death toll, by daybreak it was in the hundreds, and I couldn't sleep at all. And actually, I want to show you something. I have a little prop for today's Taiwan by Number. So I actually printed out on a dot matrix printer.
Oh my goodness.
These are the very first wire reports that came out after the earthquake. So we actually have the very first story, which came in 20 minutes after the earthquake. At about 2:03 in the morning, it was an AP report saying that the earthquake had struck Taipei. Of course, at the time, we had no idea
how bad
that it was actually much larger and that it had struck central Taiwan. Wow. So this is a piece of history that we have right here. So I want to go into some more figures from the earthquake. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of numbers to begin with. 2,415 people actually died in the earthquake. 11,000 people were injured. I want to ask you, Natalie, in the list of the deadliest earthquakes in Taiwan's history, where does the 9/21 earthquake rank?
First?
It's a good guess. Let's have a look at the answer.
Oh, really?
Actually, number 2. The 1935 Shinchiku Taichu earthquake struck Miaoli, and actually you can see in that picture there the Longtan Bridge. It's a kind of, I guess, an iconic image that actually toppled during that earthquake. So it's hard to imagine, and more than 3,000 people died in that quake. So speaking of old earthquakes, the next question has to do with another old earthquake. When do you think the very first recorded earthquake in Taiwan history was recorded?
1890.
1890? Was that a random guess?
Wild guess. Yeah, totally wild guess.
Actually, it's interesting because it's kind of close to when the Japanese occupation of Taiwan began.
Yeah.
You're
so
on the right
wild,
track.
Yes, I'm thinking of, yeah, way back there.
Yeah, you've got the wrong occupation though. Let's have a look at the answer.
Oh, wow.
1624.
Wow.
So this actually was when the Dutch first arrived in Taiwan. That's the year they arrived. And there was a big earthquake that they recorded. Of course, we don't know how big it was because there was no Richter scale back then.
So we've been having earthquakes for a long time in Taiwan.
I think it's safe to
part
say
of our,
like forever.
Yeah, our thing over here.
Right. All right, let's go back to the 921 earthquake again. Now, this earthquake, of course, was one of the most destructive in Taiwan's history. It was a 7.3 on the Richter scale. Now, just to look at some of the figures here, actually, I'm going to ask you about the figures. How many of the buildings were completely destroyed in the 921 earthquake?
In Taiwan?
Yes, in Taiwan,
Oh my
across Taiwan.
gosh, I don't remember. 500 or so?
Okay, let's have a look at this answer.
Oh my gosh, 52,000!
52,000 buildings, more than 52,000
amazing.
were completely destroyed. And you can see I'm actually standing in front of the Wuchang Temple in
that's
Jiji near
you.
the epicenter. That's me.
You went there.
I did go there years later. That's a more recent
okay.
picture. But they kept that building just as a reminder of the destructive force of the
Wow,
earthquake.
completely destroyed. 52,000.
Completely destroyed.
That's
And
amazing.
actually, another figure for you, 53,000, more than 53,000 were severely damaged during the earthquake.
Wow.
So it's a huge, huge loss, not just of human lives, but also of property.
I remember they changed the laws for buildings after that, so that our buildings are safer now because of that earthquake.
Absolutely.
The newer buildings.
And actually, at the time, RTI sent me to a collapsed building in Taipei, the Dongxing building. And to see that for the first time, seeing like 12 stories just pancaked, was shocking. And that actually was one of the building collapses that led to the changes in the laws here in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go on to another question here, and this is our final question of the day. After the earthquake, there were a lot of aftershocks. Can you guess the total number of aftershocks in the month following that earthquake?
I would say about 200.
200? Let's have a look.
Oh my God.
The Central Weather Bureau found that there were 12,911 aftershocks.
Wow, but we don't
following
feel all those aftershocks.
No, but interestingly enough, I remember being in the office here at RTI, and every day there were aftershocks.
You remember?
That you could feel
I don't
it.
remember.
Oh, I remember
You have a
people
good memory.
screaming down the hallway. Yeah, people
We
oh.
were traumatized.
Well, and some of them were big too. There was a
Right.
6.8, which actually killed 3 people in the days following the earthquake.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, for that. And